We're going to start with a single picture here and work on a few crop, layering, and layout tools to make a composite. First, we have a picture here and we have a lot of extra space, so we are going to look at the crop tool. When you look at the crop tool here, you have different options for restricting based on size, if you want a 4x6 for printing purposes, or an 8x10, or in my case, I'm just going to do no restriction. You can also specify the height and the width, or you can click on one of the pictures and it'll give you a suggestion which you can modify. By dragging up and down, you can go around the picture. In this case, I want a little bit of extra space around the outside. Then I would leave it like that. If I don't, I'm going to pull it in tight to the picture, and this is in fact what I would like to do. So I clicked commit and I have a picture by itself. Now, since my goal is a composite, I'm going to open a new picture that's blank, and I'm going to just select to make it 24 by 36 with inches being my selection. You can see how it transferred it and changed it to pixels, from pixels to inches when I did that first. So I'll do it this way and click on inches. And then this one stayed the same because I had typed it and clicked inches. So this one I'm going to call composite, and we will just make a 3-picture composite. And we'll leave not grayscale but RGB, and the rest we're going to leave as we have them. So we're going to click OK. And now we have a larger workspace than this. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually go up to our quick edits, and we're going to look at our various effects that we could choose from. Smart looks, tints, season, pencil sketch, toy camera, black and white lithograph, cross-section, process, split tone, vintage, light leak. Each of these, if I pick one like lithograph here, it'll apply the effect, but it also gives me additional options to choose from. So you can see I have 5 different lithographs I could choose from, and those are all quickly done by the computer, and you can see I can choose from those. I'm going to leave it at the green one here, and then I'm going to switch to expert mode and select. You can see I'm actually on the layer there where they've got a mask going on, but I just want this picture, so I'm going to highlight it and I'm going to edit and copy, which is Control C. Now I have a copy of that in my clipboard. I'm going to bring it over to this composite and paste. I can use the move tool here and move it around. Now I want to leave an edge because I'm going to make a border, and I'm not going to worry about the extra space for now. There are a few things that I could be concerned with, however, and that is that this and this are hard to work with. So I want to go down to layout, and I want to change the layout to not all grid, but just side-by-side column. This is my preference. If you have a lot of pictures and like to, you can put them all out in a grid. This is what I want to work with for this particular one. Now I'm going to go back over to the first picture and actually just do a Control Z, which is like an edit undo. And I'm back to the original picture. And now I'm going to go to quick, and I'll pick something else. I see we have seasons or pencil sketch. I think I'll get a big difference out of pencil sketch, and I'll pick this one. That's a very obvious one, or this one. Oh, I like that difference. So then I'll flip back to expert mode, and I'm going to copy that. Not move it, but copy it. Once again, I select it, and I'm going to do a Control C for copying. Then I'll come back over to my composite, and I will do a Control V, select the move tool, and move it so that it looks about the same. I can zoom in there if I want to by typing the Control key and the plus, and I can get a more accurate spacing. If it's not accurate enough, I can keep doing that, and it lets me be more and more specific the more I've zoomed in. So, in this case, we're going to do a 3-picture composite. I'm going to zoom out, which is Control minus, and I have one more to do. I'm doing a Control Z, which is also Edit Undo right here. But I find it less convenient to go up to the menu than just to use the keystrokes. I went too far, and you can see I've deleted my crop. Control Z undoes something, and Control Y redoes something. So I use the Control Y there to get back to this because I'd already gone past it. I need to do one more effect to make a 3-picture composite. Not the guided, but the quick. If you ever get lost, that could have easily happened. Now we have some other effects here. I'm looking for something personally I'd like. I'm going to try a light leak. Let's see how the light leak turns out. We once again have 5 options with our light leak, almost as if we had an old camera. Or we took a picture into the glaring sun, or it was developed poorly. This is the one I found I like. And now I'm going to flip back into expert. You can see my other picture is gone, which could be disturbing, but it's really not. It's just the difference between the quick and the expert mode. Now I come back over to my selection tool. I select my picture. I'm going to do a Control plus a C. And then I'm going to go over to my composite and Control V, grab the move tool, and move it down. Now I don't want all of this extra, so I'm going to go down to my crop tool again, leaving it at no restrictions, and you can see the darker color here and the lighter color here. You think, oh, none of them are exactly what I want. Not to worry. Take the first selection and then drag the corners or the sides until it's exactly what you want. Then click the check mark, and everything is great. The only problem you might have is something I didn't show you. Let's say that you were on this picture here and you needed a bigger canvas. You could go to image and go to resize and not change the image size. That'll enlarge or shrink the image, but change the canvas size. You can see what happens here. I've got an 11 by 8 inch, and I'm going to make it a 16 by 16 inch. Perhaps that's all I need. And now I have a bigger canvas. So between these two things, you can make a composite image. There's one more thing we'd like to do over here on the composite, and that is we would like to make this background so that the edges aren't empty, but that they have a color that we'd like. We can decide what color we'd like. Go to the color picker and select something we find that we think, oh, it'll just make these colors pop. I'm going to pick a bluish color. It's going to be reflected here in the color selection. Take the paint bucket tool, and if it doesn't let me do that here, it might be because I don't have a layer selected. Now you might think it's going to fill in that. Let's see what happens, because this is the bottom layer. Now I can dump my paint, and I've gone all the way around my image. This is the image we're looking for, and we can actually merge these together, or we can leave them separate. In this case, can go to layer and merge down, being on the topmost layer, and layer, merge down. Now I have a final picture I can save and submit if I need a 3-picture composite. If I need any larger or more composites, I'll need to enlarge this picture or shrink it accordingly and add the pictures across.